Any of the example?
Rubber band.
Rubber band. Okay. When we stretch it, means we are applying the force, deforming force. Then its shape and size will change. And if you remove it, again it will come to its original shape and size. Okay. So that is nothing but the property of elasticity. So again, there are two things in the elasticity. Those are nothing but stress and strain. So what do you mean by the stress? Stress is nothing but whatever the force we are applying per unit area. Okay, means whatever the force is applied in the unit area, that is nothing but the stress. Okay, so that is nothing but the definition of the stress is given by the ratio of the applied force to the area of its application. Means whatever the total force we are applying in the total area, that will give you force per unit area, and that is nothing but the stress. Then what do you mean by the strain? These are very important things in case of the elasticity. So strain is nothing but the ratio of change in the dimensions to the original dimensions. So here whatever the change in the shape or the size will take place when we apply the deforming force to the original shape and size, that is nothing but the strain. So accordingly, applying the force along the length or along the volume or the tangential, there are three types of strains. Those are nothing but the tensile or the longitudinal. Tensile or the longitudinal. One more is volumetric. When we apply the volumetric stress, then there will be the volumetric strain. Shearing stress, shearing strain. So here there are three types of the strains. Okay, accordingly we apply the stress. So here there are three types of strains depending upon the applied stress. One is the longitudinal stress, then you'll get the longitudinal strain, volumetric strain, and tangential strain depending upon the applied stress. So here again there are three types of stress, that is a tensile stress, or it is also called as the longitudinal stress. If you apply the stress along the length, then there will be the stretching of the wire. Here we are taking the example of the wire. If you are force, applying the force to the wire, okay, then whatever the stretch is happening, that is nothing but along the length. Okay, so therefore this is called as the longitudinal stress or the tensile stress. So there is a change in the dimension along the length. Here the dimension is length. There is a change in the length. So it is called as the tensile stress. When a deforming force F is applied to a wire at its one end will be fixed, other end will be free. Okay, and we are applying the force from the other end by putting some weight, okay, at the free end. That will be our applied stress along the length. And whatever the stretching is happening along the length. So therefore it is called as a tensile stress or longitudinal stress. Again, it is nothing but the force per unit area. This area is nothing but the cross-sectional area. This is nothing but our cross-sectional area. Okay. So force by area is nothing but the stress. Then longitudinal stress will be again change in the length to the original length, because the definition of the strain is change in dimension to the original dimension. Here whatever the dimension we are considering is nothing but the length. So change in length to the original length. So here whatever the change is happening is nothing but x. So it will be x by L. L was the original length. Whatever the change has happened by the length of x centimeter or x units. So it will be x by L. So here, this is nothing but the longitudinal stress. So, sorry, longitudinal strain. When we are applying the stress longitudinally, you will get the longitudinal strain, or it is also called as a linear strain or tensile strain. Then the second one is the compressive stress or the volumetric stress. Here we are applying, here you can see, this is the sphere. We are applying the force uniformly from all the points on this surface. Okay, so when the deforming force is applied normally or uniformly, normally as well as the uniformly is perpendicular to the surface from all the sides. Same, that is nothing but uniform. Then it produces the strain without changing its shape. Okay, shape will remain same, only the volume will change. So here you can see this is a volume V and this is the V dash, which is the volume after applying the force. Shape will remain same, sphere only, spherical, but there will be the change in the volume. So that is nothing but the compressive stress. Here compressive stress is nothing but force by area. Again, this is nothing but the whatever force we are applying on the surface of the sphere here, okay, divided by area. Again, per unit, force per unit area. Here, what is the difference between the earlier and one? This is here we are applying the force on the surface uniformly. At all the points, the force is same. Then the all of you mute your mics. When I will ask you the question, that time you unmute and talk. So here compressive strain is nothing but compressive. Due to compressive stress, body undergoes a change in its volume. So here it will be change in volume to the original volume. So if you consider V is the change in volume and capital V is the original. Unmute your mics. When I will ask you to talk, that time you mute your mics. When you want to talk, that time you unmute. So V by V, that is change in volume to the original volume, is nothing but the volumetric strain. Then the third one is the shearing stress or the tangential stress. Here we are applying the stress normal. It is the force acting tangentially. So here you can see this is a cube. Okay. So here one of the face will be constant and we are applying the force to the another face. Okay. So here we are considering A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, okay, and P, Q, R, S. So here we can see it is the force acting tangentially, means by making some angle theta area on the there will be the strain produced. If it is applied tangentially to a free portion of the body with another part being fixed, its layer slide one over the other. The body compresses and turning effect will take place. Here one end will be fixed here ds. Okay, this face is free. So we are applying the force on this face. So there will be the sliding and this will be the angle made after applying the force. That is called as a tangential strain. Okay, and whatever the force we are applying is nothing but the tangential stress. Yes. So here we are considering a rectangular cube whose lower face DCRS, DCRS. This you can see the face DCRS is fixed. And tangential force F is applied to its upper face. That is nothing but ABQP. This is the upper face, that is ABQP. Lower face is DCRS. DCRS is fixed and we are applying the force to the face AB, QP. Due to the applied force, A will be shifting to A dash, B will be shifting to B dash, P shifts to P dash, Q shifts to Q dash. So there will be the sliding and the angle made with the original will be the theta. So P and P dash, P and Q shifts to P dash, Q dash. That is the planes of two faces ABCD and PQRS turn through an angle theta. ABCD, this ABCD and this is PQRS. They will be changing by an angle theta. Another will be A dash B dash CD, then P dash Q dash RS. This is after applying the force. So again, this angle theta, whatever is made by applying the force, is nothing but the shearing strain. So here tangential stress is again force per unit area, and the shearing strain is theta. Due to the applied force, whatever this changing is taking place, that is ABCD is converted into A dash B dash CD. PQRS is converted into P dash Q dash RS by making an angle theta. So whatever this theta is there, that is nothing but the tangential strain or the shearing strain. And this is equal to PP dash by PS. What is your PP dash? This is your PP dash by RS. PP dash by PS. PP dash by PS. Because this is a theta. So this will be PP dash by PS. That is equal to X by PS is nothing but your L. So always whenever we are considering the shearing strain, that is theta, it will be always X by L. Means by how much distance it has been shifted divided by its original length, that is L. And it is denoted by theta, that is a shearing strain. These are the three types of stress and strain, that is longitudinal, volumetric, and the shearing. Then what are the examples of the good elastic materials? That is natural rubber, synthetic rubber. Okay, steel is also an elastic material which will be used in the construction. Okay, so again there is an application of this elasticity in the engineering. How it is useful? So whatever the steel we are using for the building purpose, okay, there the property of the steel will be studied and then only it will be used. Okay, means how much weight it can bear. Samples of the steel are sent to the laboratories to find the maximum load the steel can withstand. Otherwise it will break and there will be the leakage. So here first they have to study the properties of the elastic properties of the steel, and then only we can use it. How much load it can bear or how much load with which it can withstand. That first we have to study, and then only we can use that steel. And also electric poles are given hollow structure as hollow poles. Hollow poles are stronger than solid one. It is according to the cohesive and adhesive forces acting on the internal surfaces of the poles. So here all whatever the elastic material we are using, first we are going to study that one, their properties, and then only we have to use it. So there is the importance of elasticity in the field of engineering. Okay, that is in case of civil engineering, construction of the building. Then effect of continuous stress and temperature. When certain elastic materials are subjected to continuous stress, then what happens? It will cross the limit. Okay, again it will not come to its original shape, because whatever the force we are applying, it should be within the elastic limit. Then only it can come to its original shape. If it is beyond the elastic limit, then there will be the creep will take place, means there will be the crack. Creep is the property due to which material under a steady stress undergoes deformation continuously. It is a type of slow plastic deformation. Means after applying the force, it will go to in that state, and if you remove it again, it will not come to its original one. That is nothing but the plastic deformation will take place. If you apply the force continuously, okay, if you apply the force continuously, it will not come to its original shape or the size. It will remain in that shape or size, okay, after applying whatever it has taken place. So here deformation is removed slowly by the material, much of it stays permanently slowly, it leads to fracture. Only some part will come to its original position, but remaining will remain in the same state and it fractures the material. Then what is the annealing? Annealing is nothing but the process of a metal or an alloy or a glass soft by heating and then cooling it slowly. Means whatever the will do in case of the manufacture of glass. First we'll heat it and then we'll cool it slowly, so it will become hard and it will take the properties as hardness and toughness to meet the requirement of good machinability and casting. It improves the elasticity and increases the ductility. Okay, so in order to increase these properties, this process has been carried out. That is nothing but the annealing. Means heating and again slowly cooling. So again that will increase it improves the elasticity and increases the ductility. Then effect of impurities on elasticity. Addition of the impurities of the metal results in either increase or decrease of the elasticity. Means if there are the impurities present in the material, it will increase the elastic property or decrease the elastic property. So again, there is a effect of impurity on the property of elasticity. If the impurity enables the movement of dislocation, then it causes and reduces the strength, that elastic property will reduce. And if impurity will stop the movement of the ions, then there will be decrease in the property of elasticity. So depending upon the property of the atoms which we are adding as the impurity, depending upon that, the elastic property will change. Plasticity. Plasticity begins where the elasticity ends. Plasticity means when we apply the force and if you remove it, again it will come to its original shape. But as we go on and applying the force, one state will come that after removing the force also, it will not come to its original shape. Means deformed state, state will remain same. If a body deformed means it will not come to its original. It will remain in the deformed shape or the size. That is nothing but the plasticity. And the body is called the plastic body. Plasticity begins where the elasticity ends. Okay, means within the elastic limit only it will come to its original shape, but after elastic limit it will go to the plastic state. Beyond elastic limit, if you apply the stress, it enters in a plastic range. Brittle materials undergo fracture early, while ductile materials show yielding. Okay, again, some of the materials after the plastic state also they will show some elastic property. Those are nothing but the ductile materials. Here you can see that strain hardening means plastically deformed, means beyond the elastic limit also if you apply the stress, okay, higher yield stress, then for the one that has not undergone plastic deformation, then it has been hardened. This effect is called strain hardening. Means beyond the yield point. Means here the elastic limit is completed, and again if you apply the stress, there will be the elastic property that is called as a strain handling, and this is a soft strain softening. For certain materials such as concrete or soil, the stress strain curve will be typically as shown in the figure. Means after the elastic limit, if you apply the stress, then it will be like this. Stress strain will go on decreasing. So that is nothing but the negative slope indicates that there is a softening effect. Okay, if it increases, then there is a hardening effect. If it decreases, there is a softening effect. That is nothing but the strain softening. Then Hooke's law. Here it should be actually stress versus strain. At the starting, that is OP, as you apply the stress, strain will be increasing. So stress and strain will be in the linear state. Okay, so this is a proportional limit. After this, there will not be the elastic, means linear portion will not be there. Okay, so this is after the elastic limit. This is a yield point. Maximum we can apply the stress to come to its original position. So here QR, that is nothing but the plastic behavior. Means here it will go into the plastic state. Means beyond this, if you apply the force, it will not come to its original state. It will remain in the deformed state. That is a plastic state. That is called as a plastic behavior. After plastic behavior, if you apply the stress, then that is a strain hardening. Okay, and this is a strain softening. Ultimate strength. Till you apply the stress increase, then there will be the fracture point. The material will break. So here along OP, stress is directly proportional to the strain. Along OP, stress is directly proportional to the strain. Then Q is the yield point. Between Q and S, S is this. Q and S, the body fails to regain its original length. If the applied force is removed but traverses the dashed line. Okay. Such deformation is called as the plastic deformation. It is yes, actually. As yes, deformation becomes large enough to pull the molecules far apart. Beyond yes, the body into parts called fracture. So this is your yes point. This is the maximum. This is the point where we can apply the maximum. Beyond this, there will be the break of the material. So here Young's modulus is nothing but the longitudinal stress by longitudinal strain. Depending upon the three types of stress and strain, there are three types of modulus. One is the Young's modulus, that is longitudinal stress by longitudinal strain. We have seen force per unit area is stress. Change in the length to the original length will be the strain. So it will be FL by XA is nothing but for the longitudinal stress. Then volumetric stress by volumetric strain. It is nothing but the for the bulk modulus. So your volumetric stress will be F by A. Okay, that is nothing but force per unit area is again nothing but the pressure. Change in volume to the original volume is the volumetric strain. So this gives you the bulk modulus. Modulus of rigidity is the ratio of tangential stress to the tangential strain. That we have seen. Force per unit area is again the stress. X by L is again the tangential strain. So that is nothing but modulus of rigidity. So these are the three types of moduli: bulk modulus, Young's modulus, bulk modulus, and modulus of rigidity. Young's modulus related to longitudinal stress strain. Bulk modulus is related to the volumetric stress and strain, and rigidity modulus is related to the tangential stress to the tangential strain. So this is about the introduction. Some of the derivations are there. Those will see in the next class. Hello, students. Hello, Anusha. Hello. I have shared the notes. Just refer the notes and understand. Okay, the concepts. If you have any doubt, you can ask in the next class. Tomorrow's class at 10 o'clock. We'll discuss about the derivations. Okay. So we'll end the meeting now. Thank you all of you for attending.